What's happening, troopers? It is your boy Will here with the 501st Com Chatter. Um, as you can see, I don't have Rory with me today. Just due to personal conflict, he wasn't able to make this one. And I was going to be doing it by myself, and it was just going to be very boring listening to me talk for an hour. I know you guys don't want to do that. So I have very kindly been joined by a special guest. So, special guest, please introduce yourself.
Hello, I am Chloe. Um, I do lots of art. Here's my wall. So yeah, just do pictures. I'm Art by Chloe on Instagram. Um, I work with Will. And yeah, I'm just here today to talk about Mandalorian and Bad Batch and just be a Star Wars nerd.
That's good enough for me. We love Star Wars nerds here on this show. We're all Star Wars nerds. So basically, Chloe was my trooper of the week. I think 2 weeks ago. From seeing her art, I'm a very big fan of her artwork. By the way, it's very good. It's very good.
You can see.
And if you're not watching this and you're listening, then we'll definitely leave the link so you can go have a look at our artwork because it is on point. It's amazing.
Thank you.
So Chloe will be joining me and Rory as a guest host in a couple of sort of 17th to 21st ish of April. We haven't sorted out the date yet, but it's going to be around that week. So we're looking forward to it. So before we get on today's episode, Chloe, we always ask our guests 5 questions, right? Just to know that person a little bit better. Now, I know you quite well already, so okay. I know what these answers are going to be probably, but I like to hear you anyway. So, first question.
Yes.
What is your favourite Clone Legion / battalion? And if it's not the Clone Legion, what is your favourite faction?
The 501st.
I did not pay her. I did not pay her to say that.
No, I mean, Anakin's my favourite character, so you got to pick his Legion. I know, obviously, like Order 66 happened, and that was a whole tragedy, but you got to love the Blue Boys. So yeah, and yeah, I may as well show.
Showcasing the art.
There you go.
There you are. Check it out. Honestly,
definitely a fan of the 501st.
100%. Well, you've already taken my second question. Second question is, who is your favourite character?
There you go.
Already taken.
I have Rex over here.
Okay.
Yes, so Anakin, 100%. I know lots of people don't like him. Lots of people do, but yeah, I could talk all day about Anakin, but I'll be here forever.
Okay, so thirdly, what got you into Star Wars?
I mean, I've been into it ever since I was a kid, so like probably since I was like 5 years old. So I used to have like a little Darth Vader costume, and a little like lightsaber, the one where it like goes in the hilt. I remember watching Revenge of the Sith twice at the cinema when that came out in 2005. So yeah, definitely a hardcore fan. I used to have like basically like a princess bedroom, like a pink walls and everything, and then like a massive Darth Vader poster on the wall. But yeah, I've always been a fan, always watched the originals and obviously the prequels when I was a kid. So yeah, loved it. And now I'm loving the shows and loving that Darth Vader came back and Rogue One and Kenobi and all that. So definitely a big fan.
Good.
Everything to prove it.
So, fourth question, I believe. Yeah. What is where if you could live on any Star Wars planet, where would you go? Which would you choose and why?
I would go to Naboo because it's just, I mean, it's beautiful, isn't it? I mean, who wouldn't want to stand on that balcony and like watch the lake and stuff? Just amazing.
Pretty much everyone and anyone who
Yep.
goes to that place in Italy, you know.
Oh, I know. I so want to go there. Like, obviously, Italy, I wanted to go to anyway because I just love pizza. That's another question. My favorite food is pizza. But yes, honestly, I would go there for the pizza, the views, just because it's Star Wars and yeah, everything. Naboo, 100%. And Padme is another one of my favorite characters, so obviously got to go
that's
to where
good.
she
That's
comes
good
from.
reasons to want to go to Naboo.
Yes. Maybe one day, and then I'll put it on my story or something so I can see.
Good. We want to see that.
Yes,
and
bring you with me.
lastly, fifth question: if you could meet any actor or actress from Star Wars, who would it be and why?
Wow. I mean, I would probably go with like Pedro Pascal or Hayden Christensen. However, I haven't got the Hayden Christensen for Celebration because it is very expensive and I'm already spending a lot of money. But, you know, if the opportunity came up again, possibly the Hayden and Pedro. And definitely the Baby Yoda puppet. I definitely want to meet him. Hoping we'll get to see him.
That would be cool.
Yes.
Yeah. So obviously, I know you're a fan of the show, and I've got my meeting with Hayden. I can't wait.
Yes.
I'm seeing Ewan as
Very
well.
jealous.
Don't worry, Rory rubs it
I
into
can
me
see
all
him
the
from
time.
afar at Celebration, you know, if he's doing a panel, then
You can just wave at him. Cool. So before we go on to the episode, a little bit of quick news. There's not much. Talking of Celebration, they revealed 4 of the panels for Celebration. There was Star Wars Showcase on the Friday, Ahsoka on the Saturday, Bad Batch on the Sunday, I believe, and then it was villains, the trio of villains on the Monday, I believe. I might have got the wrong order, but that's that. I've applied for all of them. I know Rory's applied as well. You're only going on the Saturday, aren't you?
yes. So just Ahsoka at the minute.
Just Ahsoka. Now,
I would like
hopefully,
to get in the Return of the Jedi as well. Hopefully.
Oh, that would be.
Anyway.
I think that would be a good one. But yeah, so they've revealed, they released those 4 for like entry. So if you go in Celebration, go put your email in and you might end up going. It's not guaranteed, but it's worth a try.
Yeah.
Right. So today's main agenda, the breakdown of the latest 2 episodes. Now, we're going to start with Bad Batch. Because let's be honest, there's a lot less to talk about.
Yep.
So let's start with the Bad Batch. So overall, what did you think of it?
I thought it was pretty good. Like, there wasn't much that happened, but you know, it's an adventure with all of them. I mean, it's nice to see them, whether it's like not very important episode or it is like, you know, it's Star Wars content at the end of the day.
True, we do love Star Wars content, but
Yes.
do you feel this is the direction they should have gone with this episode, or do you think they should have continued with the main story in terms of like Crosshair and what's going on with him, or the Bad Batch going with Rex and Echo and finding out what's going on?
Possibly, but like, I suppose they could do that in like the last final episodes, you know, like there's, I don't know how many there's left, but you know, they've got to keep it going for a while until they get to like the finale where it needs to be kind of, you know, good, very good.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, I enjoy it. I enjoy all the episodes.
Good. So before I get on to my point, Rural in the chat has said, Will, did you catch my question in the Discord? I had a little look at it. I can't remember what it says right now, but Rural, I will get back to you on that one, I promise. So thanks for joining us as well, Rural.
Yes.
Lovely having you on the episode 50 a couple of days ago. So yeah, my opinion, to be honest, when I first watched it, was a little bit disappointed.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I think after watching the last 2 episodes before this one,
yeah,
I had a lot of expectations.
yeah.
I was expecting a lot of action, a lot of things going on, a lot more just action, really. Like,
yeah.
For me, I like the planet. Was it Padu?
Yeah.
I can't remember what it's called, but
yeah, with P. I can't remember either. But yeah, I totally get what you mean. Like the last couple of episodes have been kind of building the tension, and this one was kind of like not as much.
I think it dropped the tension very highly, like a wave.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the planet looks really cool. I liked the setting of it. I thought.
Yes.
I did see someone describe it as space Greece.
Oh, he's just said Pabu in the chat.
Whatever, Pabu. We were close.
Yes.
Pretty much on it. But yeah, no, I loved. I think it just looked very good. Place I would quite like to visit. I thought it was nice seeing Omega sort of get another friend, shall we say?
Yeah.
She seems to have had a couple of those throughout the
Yeah.
through the seasons, but it's nice to see someone that she connected with.
Yeah.
What did you think about seeing the team the team being a more relaxed atmosphere and situation? How did you feel about that?
I think it was good. Like I've got written down like because like Omega's been so focused on all the missions and stuff, and there was a time where her and her friend like went out to sea, and then she's there like, oh, this is completely different to what I'm used to, kind of thing. Because obviously on Camino she was around the sea, but like it was almost like a holiday for them that turned into a disaster. But like, you know, they deserved a break, I suppose.
Yeah, I see that. I mean, I think the fact that the biggest danger was just the natural sort of tsunami.
Yeah.
I think in a way it was quite good because it was something different. You know, it's not just, oh, there's an invading group of mercenaries or pirates or whatever. But I feel like it was a very slow episode.
Yeah.
I mean, even the tense bits that you could say with like Omega and a friend out in sea running from the wave, I didn't really feel like there was any real danger to them.
Yeah. Yeah. Like
so,
they've seen a lot worse.
Oh yes,
definitely.
they've been in worse situations, and I just feel like it was a little bit slow. I'd like to have seen more. Maybe the group doing more with the locals or something, because it just seemed like they were like, oh, we're just going to have a bit of food, just going to sort of chill.
I did enjoy the bit where Wrecker was like, I'm so full, I've not been this full in ever, and then like the guy comes out with the other tray of like fruit, and he's like, this is your dessert, and he's like, oh, I like this place. I loved that. was funny. I love Wrecker. But yeah.
I think probably another bit as well. I know we had a little chat about this earlier, but there was a lot of references to Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys listening or watching paid attention to that, but there was quite a lot of references or similarities, shall we say, to Indiana Jones. Now, I can't remember if I'm saying it right or I've got the right name, but I think the club at the start was, what was it? Is something Lao? It had a name. The name was of the character from the Indiana Jones film. I can't remember. What was it called?
This is the way, Ruben.
I don't think it was called This Is the Way, but This Is the Way, Ruben. Welcome to the chat. Club Lao or something. Rural's probably going to know it because he knows everything. But what did you think about that? All these nods to... What do you feel like all the nods to Indiana Jones and the similarities?
I mean,
how did you feel about them doing that?
I mean, there's references and everything. Like, even with some of the Mando stuff, I think, oh, this reminds me of Terminator. Or like, I can't think of any other examples at the minute. But there's certain things I'm like, this is like this other film and stuff. And being that Indiana Jones is Lucasfilm, like...
Sorry, no, I was just reading
I was reading the chat.
Who didn't just, when we saw Wrecker asleep by the girls under the tree?
Yeah, true.
What did you think about that scene? Did you,
Just, bless him.
Bless Wrecker.
I mean, Hunter's my fave, but I do like Wrecker.
Don't let Rory hear you say that. Just cross out mad, that guy.
Sorry.
But yeah, no. So what would you give the episode out of 10?
Probably like a 7.
Okay.
6 or 7. I don't know.
There's no pressure.
Like, it wasn't bad, but I know what you mean by like you wish that more would have happened.
Yeah.
But I did really enjoy it. I'll see what I have written down. Oh, so like there was a bit where Tech was talking about the ladders,
mm-hmm.
and it was because because obviously he carries around that little data pad with him everywhere he goes. So he's probably scanned out the whole island by the time the tsunami hits. So he's like, right, I know the ladder's going to be here, and he's already planning his way out. So I really appreciate Tech for that.
I did notice that as well. I think that was quite a little nice nod to his character. He's very aware of everything around. You know, he's already noticed the emergency, ladders, and he's got a good situation. I did like as well. We don't see enough of it, I don't think, in the series, but seeing Hunter's sort of enhanced tracking ability.
Yes.
Like when he was in the bar and he could tell from the little creepy crawly assassin bug.
Yes.
He could tell straight away that like where it was. And that's something that we haven't really seen enough of in this season and in the first season, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Is that something you would like to see more of?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, like, episode 2 is like one of my favorites. So I feel like the beginning was definitely a bit of a nod to episode 2 with regards to like the bars, like the nightlife kind of. It gave like a bit of a Coruscant vibe. And then obviously with the bugs and stuff that tried to kill Padme, like the same ones that were trying to kill Fee. Is her name Fee?
Fee.
And then obviously Hunter showing his skills with the knife. But yeah.
Yeah, that was a pretty cool scene.
Yeah, I did
and
like that bit.
it's quite nice seeing as well Omega sort of not being so much just the constant damsel in distress. I know later in the episode she ended up being that, but in the sort of bar, she handled herself. She shot down the bell. She shot someone and then went over the desk and used it as cover. I thought that was quite cool to see.
Yeah. I think she's definitely getting more skilled with her little bow and arrow thing. Because like from where she started, when like she was just a little girl, whereas now she's been with these people for so long, it's just like come nature to her to just be like really good at these battles and stuff.
Yeah.
So, anyway, what would you rate it? Out of 10. Or is it out of 10? Yes.
Yeah, I feel like this is gonna probably sound quite harsh, but I'm gonna give it probably like a 6.5.
Okay.
Just one of those.
I gave it like 6, 7. So we're on the same page, I think.
We're on the same thing. I think for me, it was just after the last 2 episodes, I saw it as quite a big come down in terms of what was happening. We've completely gone away from the story again. Obviously, I think we've only got 2 weeks left because we've got next week, and then we've got the finale, which is 2 episodes. Okay. So I think, I'm hoping next one will sort of bridge everything back together. I'm hoping. So not my favorite episode. I don't know if I'd put it like bottom because I can't remember like some of the episodes from season 1, but just not my favorite, not overly good, but 6.5 for me.
Yep.
Now, shall we start talking about Mando?
Okay.
Now, before we get into it, I said I would hype Chloe up for this. But when we were watching it, there was a little bit where Chloe goes, "This is reminding me of Andor." This is giving me Andor vibes, right?
Yeah.
And let me just say, as soon as she said that, throughout the day,
nothing but memes today.
Mando.
I'm like,
Andor.
I told you, the Mandalorian.
The Mandalorian. I like that. So I just want to give you some credit because you actually pointed that out before most of these other people did. Now, before we talk about it quickly, just going on to Ruben's point, what do you think of Fee's character so far? I'll let you go first.
I think she's interesting. Like, she seems to care a lot about Omega, and she kind of wants her to do her own thing, I think. Like, obviously she introduced her to that little girl and she's like, oh, here's the plan. And she's just kind of like, this isn't the place for a child, really. But that's kind of what Hunter wants to do. He wants to get her somewhere safe, because really at the minute the only safe space is the Marauder ship, isn't it? Like, they don't really have a home as such. So anyway, I'm getting away from Fee now. Let's go back to Fee. I think she seems good. I think she could potentially be like a replacement for Sid, because I mean, Sid's been a bit mean to them in recent episodes, and there was like some comm that they did, and there was a moment where it glitched and her voice sounded really like dark and evil, and I don't know if that's kind of
hinting at something possible in the future,
that she's just not going to be involved with them anymore because she's just too mean, So maybe Fee will be their new kind of person that gives them jobs to do for credits or something.
Yeah, I could see that happening.
She seems more reliable.
I feel like she's a lot better at the minute than Sid. Like, she seems to have more of the team's interest at heart. I think there will be some sort of conflict within sort of Fee and Sid being like, well, you've basically took the Bad Batch away from me. You've alienated them from me. But I feel like Sid, and yeah, I got to admit, Rory called it out. He got it right. He said Sid's going to turn on him, and she's definitely doing that. So personally, I'm glad to see them stepping away from Sid.
Yep.
Fee, I quite like. I feel like she seems a little bit more honourable as well. Yeah. Like, again, very similar to Indiana Jones. She basically bought and took that crystal, not because of its value, but because of its sentimental value. So,
yep.
my opinion, I think she's going to be good. Right, so back to the Mandalorian.
Farm Boys just said the man and the Mandalorian.
This is what that show was. We're gonna get to that in a minute, trust me.
Because it starts off Mandalorian, in the middle it's like Andor, and then Lorian.
That's pretty much it.
Yep.
So
okay.
Let's start with the start.
Yes.
Because what a good start.
Yes. I really liked how it started off because it was right where we left off from.
Yeah.
It's not like a jump or anything. So yeah, I liked that. How it just was right where we left off the last episode, and we can see exactly what happens, the conversation between Bo and Din.
And how did you feel with Bo not telling Din about the mythosaur in the living waters?
Didn't like it. but I think I know why she didn't tell him. Okay. So
I'm listening.
So obviously I wish she would have told him, because I'm like, he needs to know what dragged him down the thing. And also I feel like it would be really cool for Din to, tame that thing and ride it and almost be like Boba on the Rancor. Cool. Because I thought that was really cool. But anyway, I think she didn't tell him because currently he wields Darksaber, so he's kind of, in the position to rule Mandalore, and she knows if she tells him, he's gonna probably learn to ride that thing, and then all the Mandalorians are gonna look up to him, and he's gonna steal her thunder again, isn't he? So I think her plan is possibly to do something with that mythosaur in order to gain Mandalorians' respect again. That's what I believe.
I think that's quite a reasonable theory. I think it's very plausible with how she's reacted.
Yeah.
I know at first I was a bit like, why haven't you told him?
Yeah.
A little bit like, I'm not sure about this. I was kind of rooting for you a little bit, but
I don't think any of them would believe her anyway, because mythosaurs are supposedly extinct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought the inclusion of the TIE Interceptor was really nice. Now, again, a lot of people could have been like, oh, why don't they just use TIE fighters? But we've seen TIE fighters in so many things. It was nice for me to see a change. I actually prefer the Interceptor to the TIE fighter. I think it looks a little bit better, a little bit, obviously, quicker. That whole sort of dogfight with the Din in the N1 and Bo in the gauntlet, very good. Very on the edge of your seat, watching, what am I watching?
Yeah.
Love that. So good.
it's like real Star Wars, you know, like you can imagine seeing that in the originals, like and Darth Vader being there, like
That's
obviously
another
no Darth
point.
Vader more, but
That's another point that a lot of people I've seen make about that.
yeah,
The dogfight itself was very Star Wars movie esque,
yes,
and they could very easily see that. And I think that shows you how much is gone into the production of shows like The Mandalorian, if they're including things like this, which people are considering show worthy, like film worthy. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
Very good. Not gonna lie, Rory, you might have an opinion on this one, but I had no idea that Bo's gauntlet could just turn like
No.
could just turn like that. I thought it was very cool. Another thing that I picked up on, when Din went up and then turned back down and destroyed the interceptor, normally we see them just fly through the ship, but Din actually went up a little bit to not fly directly through it, so maybe a little bit more realistic instead of just flying through the carnage.
Yeah.
Didn't
want to get a scratch on his nice new ship.
Oh, please. You don't want that. That ship's too nice.
No, too precious.
I would like clean it and all that. Yeah. I don't want to see it damaged.
Take care of that.
And then obviously we get the scene with the TIE bombers.
Yes.
Another favorite. People quite like them. I've not really been a fan. Especially after watching them destroy Bo's home like that.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
How did you feel watching that bit?
You just feel her pain. Like she's just all she's wanted is to rule Mandalore, get her Darksaber. So Din's got her Darksaber and he won't battle her for it. Then, you know, she's been sat on this throne this whole time, and then Grogu came back to get her and she had to save Din. Then she's just seen this mythosaur. He's just there. She's like, what have I just witnessed? Is this real kind of thing? Didn't see this. Like, you know. And then all of a sudden, she goes back to where she's been. There's a bunch of interceptors that she's shooting about. And then all of a sudden, her home's being bombed by a bunch of TIE bombers. And you're just like... as much as I don't necessarily love her character, you can feel her pain in that moment.
She's struggling a bit with that, isn't she?
Yeah. And then about 1,000 of them start coming. And then Din's
I was just like watching that, like, oh my god. When I just saw these interceptors and TIEs, I was like, what is going on? I was like, where has this Imperial fleet just dropped from? You know?
Yeah.
I thought it was quite interesting that we didn't see like a Star Destroyer or a cruiser or something like that. It was just like maybe there was some sort of base that have been set up. And definitely that's going to play a part in the story later, because there's no way they're just going to ignore the fact that all these TIEs have just turned up.
Yeah.
They just come out of nowhere, you know?
Yeah.
And then obviously they escape.
Oh,
go on.
That it could possibly be Thrawn, because that would lead into the Ahsoka series.
Ooh.
So maybe those came from Thrawn's Star Destroyer.
Possible.
Possibly.
That's a very interesting theory. Let us know what you guys think of that. But then, so obviously they escape in the hyperspace, and then we get Andor within Mandalorian.
I called it straight away. I was just like, where is Mando? This is like Andor. He's eating biscuits.
Now, one thing that I've always picked up on, and like, you know, I've said during episodes with Rory about the Andor episodes and that visually they made it stunning. As soon as I saw Coruscant, I was like, oh my 100%. God, wow. Yeah. Then you see the theater where Anakin goes to, exactly the same.
Yeah.
Even the same stairs.
Like, yeah.
Same third.
Literally.
So I thought that was really nice to see, a nice little nod towards, like Revenge of the Sith.
Yes.
And then obviously we got the Doctor in the middle doing his little explanation about the cloning, how it goes, how it works. And I when I first saw him, I was like, this is a bit. He doesn't. I don't feel like he's genuine. I feel like he's working for someone or that. But then as the episode went on, I was a bit like, okay, actually, he is working for the Republic, sort of, with the best interest. He is like a good guy, almost.
Yeah, not with the bad guys anymore. Yeah.
No. And then we had the scene with the former Imperials just having a bit of a chinwag, talking about the good old days of the Empire.
Are you on about the courtyard scene?
Yes.
So, apparently, I've seen a theory on this. So, apparently it's called the Skydome Botanical Gardens, and apparently it's in the Republic Commando novel. So, they were on a mission where they were hunting down a Trandoshan, and apparently that's the same place. But that's Legends, that novel. But it's quite nice that they've included that.
Well, one thing that we know from new Star Wars projects, they like to bring a lot of legend stuff into canon, which I quite like. But yeah, no, that's a really cool fact. The fact that it's the same place.
Yeah.
That whole middle bit, and obviously we'll talk a little bit more in detail about it, but for me, that whole middle bit of that on Coruscant really was just very slow.
Yes.
But one thing that it did show, which I thought was quite well, it showed how inept and how rubbish the New Republic was, really.
Yeah.
Obviously, Coruscant wasn't the home capital of the New Republic because they kept moving it about. But it just, from the way that the New Republic were handling the, how they were handling the transformation from Imperials into sort of civilized life.
Yeah.
It was all mainly on droids. There wasn't really like a government as such. I was really disappointed. I can see why the First Order became a thing, because these guys weren't really doing anything.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I mean, I suppose they have to make it all make sense somehow. They can't just have, the New Republic thriving, and then all of a sudden the First Order comes along, So I think there is a method behind it.
Yeah, they're definitely leading towards filling in gaps between the Force Awakens and Return of the Jedi. But for me, the New Republic really, they showed in this episode very clearly the flaws of it. Very different from the Empire, but also very not really got a backbone, not really like a leadership, not really like in control, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then we get some very nice looking biscuits.
Yes.
Imperial biscuits. I'm sure these will become a thing at Galaxy's Edge.
Yes. Oh, I could see that 100%.
Come and get your Imperial ration biscuits.
$1,000 for a little box.
Yeah, I think you've even got the price right.
There you go.
I think from the start, I didn't trust the Moff Gideon's sort of right hand woman.
G68, apparently.
G68. I can't remember her name, but yeah, no, I didn't trust her from the start.
No.
I always feel like she was under some sort of direction.
Yeah.
Again, that whole scene. I think the one bit that I did quite like on Andor, which was quite nice, was not on Andor, on Coruscant. Sorry, I've got Andor on my mind.
What?
When they were having that chat in the sort of courtyard or the square, and you had the rock from.
Yeah.
Now that rock has appeared in Clone Wars like twice, because it was in when, quite interestingly, when Satine was on the run, and that's where she met Kenobi. So that's where they were like there. And then one of Padme's speeches you could see was holo projected from the top of it. I mean, if I did go to Coruscant, I would very much want to be like look down to see what was like underneath, because apparently it's like the tip of the tallest mountain. So I'd want to be like, what is underneath Coruscant?
Yeah.
What did you think of the lollies?
Okay, so I have a theory. So, the doctor, what's his name? Doctor or scientist?
Scientist.
Yes. So he had a blue one, like it's like a glow in the dark ice lolly. So he had a blue one, and G68 had a red one. So I don't know if that was kind of like foreshadowing. He's the good guy, she's the bad guy. But I mean, it's something so little,
but it's things like that they would include to subtly present who is going to be the bad person, and they were correct.
Yeah.
Again, I'm pretty sure we're going to see those lollies at Galaxy's Edge and stuff like that.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
Probably
I did
Grogu's macaroons as well at one point.
The new stool, the Mando stool or something.
Yeah.
Now, going to be very honest, those counseling droids or droid, shall we say? If I was getting counseling from one of these, I would be taking its head off or telling it to get lost, because even after the first session with the guy, I was like, no, I don't like this. I don't like it at all. Please go away. I found them really annoying. Again, shows the lack of wanting to do stuff from the New Republic. You know, they couldn't be bothered to get someone in, so they've just basically gave the job to droids.
Yeah.
What did you think about them?
Yeah, I didn't really like it either.
That's fair.
I can definitely agree with you there. I think I would just be like, yeah, no. One thing I will notice, the guy kept like touching his ear. And there was like a close-up shot. You could see there was kind of like damage to it. It's where when Cara Dune like went on that ship, and there was that guy that was like holding him hostage, and then she shot the other guy. I'm guessing the bullet like grazed by his ear, so then he kept touching his ear. So
yeah, I did notice that.
At first, like when it was in the I don't know,
theater,
place where Palpatine was,
well,
in episode 3, and he was talking to him about the genes and stuff like that. Like he was touching his ear then, and I thought, oh, is there like something in his ear that he's talking to someone, like being undercover, like, oh, this is my wire, you know? But then, you know, as time went on, you kind of saw it closer up, and you're like, oh, he's been wounded by Cara Dune.
Cara Dune,
yeah. But yeah, I didn't really like that droid that was counselling him.
if you guys like that droid, fair play to you, but I think Rory would agree with me in saying that we would absolutely batter that droid, because I am not having counselling sessions
No,
from
it's almost
the
like
most
it's forced.
annoying droid ever.
Yeah.
Now, another thing that I picked up on, you know, the droid that was driving the Doctor to his residence and that on the little ship, the little like taxi.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The design for that was taken
I think I know
from
what you're gonna say.
the original C3PO concept art, which I thought was
Yes.
again a really nice little nod to, you know, the origin of Star Wars.
I think the movie it's based off is something called Metropolis.
Yes.
So they took like design ideas from the robot in that to try and make it like C3PO, and they ended up going the design that they did. But yeah, it's quite a nice like Easter egg.
It's a nice little nod, in my opinion, to it. You know, it's you know, they've done it with the Bad Batch, how the TK troopers look like the original design for the stormtroopers. You know,
Yeah.
it's these little nods and acknowledgement of the original work that for me makes those moments so much cooler, because it's like, okay, there's actually reasoning behind why you put that there.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to go on to my favorite bit in the whole sort of Coruscant scene.
Yeah.
When the guy looks up and he sees the like Star Destroyers.
Yes.
Now,
I love that.
now
like,
personally,
Star Destroyer.
now personally, I'm one of these guys that I'm really fascinated by like decommissioning of like cruise ships and stuff like that. Like I find it fascinating. So then when I see like all these Star Destroyers, I'm just like, I was like, I want to go there. I'm getting my ticket to Coruscant now. I'm gonna just go and have a little wander around, do a bit of urban exploring on the Star Destroyer.
Yes, that would be so cool.
Visually, again, stunning. Cannot fault it.
You wanted to see the temple, didn't you?
Yeah. I wanted to see the temple in the background or something.
But I think we might see that because there's still an Order 66 flashback to come, isn't there? So possibly.
True. So maybe I'll see the temple. I'm hoping.
Possibly.
I hope I get to see it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean the whole story on Coruscant was very slow, very draggy, not so very engaging. Like you didn't want to be like, I want to know what this guy's doing. You're almost like, okay, so this is what he's doing.
Yeah.
I saw her selling him out pretty quick, pretty early on. But yeah, what would you say of the whole middle bit then? What were your genuine thoughts on it, on the Coruscant segment, shall we say?
I think, like, I agree with what you're saying. It's very visually nice, especially, you know, being a fan of episode 3. You know, as soon as I saw that red carpet with the stairs and that, I was like, oh my god, that's the bit that Anakin was running up to see Darth Sidious. Well, the Chancellor. But yeah, even just like seeing the city and all of the lights and stuff, it's very Star Wars, amazing. You know, you can't fault the visuals at all. But in terms of characters, I think, you know, it's all nice seeing, you know, other characters and what they're getting on with and stuff. But I think the overall middle section was just very long to have like a scene in the Mando series with nothing to do with Mando at the minute.
Yep.
So I think it could have been a little bit shorter. And yeah. But I feel like it will make sense later on. Like, I think G68 is probably going to play some kind of part that comes into cross with, you know, Mando. Like, you know, she's going to be important somehow, whether she's the new, like, Moff Gideon kind of type, like the villain series, or, you know, if she's involved with someone that is the villain. You know, it kind of gives a bit of backstory to her. So I think, you know, it will make sense towards the end, hopefully. And obviously we know what's happened to the Doctor now, but yeah. And also, I was going to say, so do you know, like, when he was talking about genes, like mixing two things? So obviously, like the Doctor guy, he was the one that had Grogu in season 1. So I think he seemed very caring towards Grogu. You know, he's like, oh, I only took like the amount that I needed and all of that. And you know, we all know that Grogu has force powers, and he was possibly trying to get like the midichlorians or whatever from him, mix them with another DNA, and you know, create something else. So I don't know if he's talking about creating something like Snoke, because that would obviously lead on to the sequels, or whether they're talking about a different character in general. You know, so yeah. I don't really know.
No, I get your point. I totally get your point. You know, it's one of those where they're definitely connecting like this middle bit to the upcoming sequels. Like, you can see that with the way that they're going with the cloning. You know, they're doing it with the Bad Batch as well, even though that is like before the originals. They are still leading with this whole cloning and idea, and they're almost trying to explain like Palpatine returning, you know, which is, in fairness, I can take my hat off to them, because it's like, well, fair play to you. You're actually trying to bridge that gap.
Yeah.
One last thing that I will say, and I thought it was quite funny now that I've rewatched the scene again. The guy telling the Mon Calamarian doctor it's a trap.
Oh.
I thought that was quite funny. Even the Mon Calamarian was a bit like, oh.
Yeah.
I did
That is quite a good like nod to Admiral Akbar.
I did have a little chuckle at that bit, because I was like, he's just said it to a Mon Calamarian.
Yeah.
But then, to finish the whole little ending bit, I thought was very good.
Yes.
Like I said to you when I first saw it, I was like, Vizsla, Katan, Bo-Katan.
Yes.
This is the main event fight. Like,
yes,
they're gonna want to fight.
Yeah, I think so too.
Then there was, you know, the whole them coming together, finding out that they have been in the living waters. I think Bo was very surprised when Armor was like, well, you're technically redeemed because you've been in the water and you haven't taken your helmet off.
Yes.
In my opinion, when everyone was coming up to her and sort of touching their shoulders and almost being like, welcome to the clan, I feel like she felt, okay, I'm part of something again. I haven't had this for so long, you know. And I think that was really nice to see that she was almost being like, I kind of want this.
Yeah.
But definitely, is it Paz? Vizsla?
Yeah, Paz Vizsla. Yeah.
Yeah. He was clearly like, I don't like you. I don't like either of you. We're gonna have some beef.
Yeah. Because I mean, with Paz, he's related to Pre-Vizsla, isn't he? Which used to wield the Darksaber and be the leader of Death Watch in the Clone Wars. So he's stood there looking, and he's got Mando one hand, which has the dark saber, which he wants because it was once his ancestors. And then you got Bo-Katan, which she used to be a part of Death Watch, and then she left. And then she created her own clan, which was the Night Owls. So that's why he's like, "Oh, who are you, Night Owl?" So yeah. So you've got someone that like betrayed Pre-Vizsla, which I don't know who he is in regards to Paz, like whether he's like a brother.
I think it's we don't know for sure, but I think it is like cousin.
Yeah. Someone
think.
Definitely related.
Yeah.
So she kind of betrayed, his relative, and yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very interesting to see where this goes.
Yeah.
Just quickly, Johnny Fernandez has put, I heard the Resistance theme in the last episode. Yes. Now, in the courtyard, not the courtyard scene, but the square scene with the mountain top, you could hear it in slightly, which was quite a cool little nod to that. So well done, Johnny, for spotting that one.
Good spot.
What would you give this out of
10? I mean, the Mando, so the beginning and the end, 10 out of 10. Loved it. The middle bit, like that lady just really annoyed me. How she, wiped the guy's mind at the end, and they only had it on a little bit, and then she cranked it up as they walked out of the room. And I was just like, there's no need. There's no need for that. So she's definitely going to be a villain for sure, or she's working with the villain that's telling her to do this thing. And I don't know if it's Moff Gideon, because Cara Dune had, she was the marshal and she put him in the Star Wars prison.
The War Tribunal, I think he was going in. But I think they mentioned in the episode that he'd gotten away from it, or he'd gotten out of it. So maybe he's going to make an appearance. But I don't want him to be the villain of this series again. I don't want that. We need someone different, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, possibly Thrawn, because obviously we've got a lead into the Ahsoka series, so that would tie in nicely.
Yeah.
So possibly him, unless they're going to bring in a different protagonist.
Possibly.
You never know. But yeah.
So
I did like that lady. So I wouldn't give the overall episode 10 out of 10. I don't know, probably like I would say like a 5.
A 5?
Maybe a 6. Okay, I'll go at 6.
Oh, okay.
So kind of neck and neck with Bad Batch, really. Because I really liked the beginning and the end, and I feel like the middle bit has a purpose. But while I was watching, I wanted to see Mando, not a scientist.
I think most of the people who signed up for the Bad Batch, for the Mandalorian, want to see the same thing. They want to see Grogu, they want to see Din.
Yeah. That's what makes Star Wars, isn't it?
Cool. For me, I've got to be honest, I'm going to give it a little bit higher because of how good the start, the ending, the visuals, and just some of the nods back to like previous games or shows and stuff. Like the guy, I'll briefly mention the scientist, he had datacrons on his desk, and those were like the things that you collected in like the Lego Skywalker Saga, complete Skywalker Saga. So it was like you got that. I'm gonna give it a 7.5.
Okay.
7.5, not an 8, but like nearly an 8. But the start was incredible. Literally, like I was sat there like just staring at it. Loved it. Ending was also very exciting, but
I really
it drifted in the middle. Not really what I wanted. Quite slow, but visually again, just so Good. So yeah, 7.5 for me for this one. So yeah, so that was it for those ones. Now, as a little bit of a little fun thing, we do have 3 questions each to ask the other one as like a little quiz thing. So, do you want to go first?
All right.
Okay. Right. Oh, so are you asking, or do you want me to ask?
You can ask.
Okay.
Okay.
So, my first one is, what is the name of the commander leading the 501st assault on the Jedi Temple?
You've completely threw me now.
I did say to you at the start, like when we were chatting earlier, I said I'm not going to make these easy.
The clone commander
The
leading the assault on Jedi Temple.
Yeah. So who was
I
the
know who led the
commanding
assault.
officer? What was his name?
The clone commander.
And if someone mentions it in the chat, don't look at the chat because I will know.
I want to say him.
But he's not a clone, is he?
But he's not a clone. But he led the...
Yes, but who was the serving clone commander?
Well, it wasn't Rex, because Rex was with Ahsoka. I generally have no idea. And this is really bad of me. One that led the assault. Is it the scene where the guy pulls up in the ship, Senator Organa, pulls in the ship, and then the guys are like, "There's been a rebellion, sir." I know. I've forgotten his name.
Did you give up?
And now I've just seen it in the chat.
I was going to say, I've just seen the chat. Apo. Ruben,
but
you are correct.
Yeah, I wouldn't have got that. I've forgotten completely.
They didn't show it in the film, but Apo is the one who had like the arrow on his forehead.
I heard that's like a nod to the Avatar.
Yeah. I thought that was quite funny. But yeah, no, Apo is the serving commander of the leading commander of the 501st during the Jedi. So you got one for me?
Okay. So in The Force Unleashed, the game. So
great.
So Starkiller has a love interest, and what was her name? So she's the Imperial pilot of the ship.
I know who it is. I can picture her. I can literally picture her. Now, if I get the first name, do I get a point?
Yeah. You don't have to get a second name if you don't want to.
Is it June?
Ooh! You're so close! You're literally so close.
June.
I just want to tell you. Because we're so close.
Go on then, tell me.
Juno.
Ah!
So her name's Juno Eclipse.
Oh, I even had Eclipse in my head. I was like,
yes.
Was it Eclipse or was the ship the Eclipse? But no, it was Juno Eclipse. Yeah. It was like,
but June was like so close. So yeah,
Okay.
And you had Eclipse.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. So your second question, just a little bit of test because I'm not going to go into the details, but Chloe here is very much after the Darksaber. So I thought I would include a Darksaber question.
Okay.
What was the name of the guy who had it the first, who created the Darksaber and was a Jedi?
Tar Vizsla.
Yes. And for a bonus point, can you spell Tar?
T-A-R?
No. It's Tarre.
Oh, man. Oh.
Well, you got the point
Okay.
anyway.
Well,
You
I got the
Tar
name
this
right.
one. Okay, my second one.
Okay. So in season 1 of the Clone Wars, the write-off arc with Waxer and Boyle in their Phase 1 armor. So they meet a little Twilight girl called called Numa. Called Numa. And what does she say to them?
Nira.
Yeah, you got away.
I had a feeling when
Gave
you
it
were
away.
saying, like, as soon as you said Waxer and Boyle, I was like, I know what's coming.
Nara.
Nira. And that means.
What does it mean?
Oh, brother. I thought you were brother. Brother.
Okay. Well, that was my fault. I gave that away. I'm gonna have to think of another question now.
Okay. So now this one is hard because I made this one hard because I had a real think about this. Right?
Okay.
So from the Phantom Menace till A New Hope.
Okay.
How many lightsabers does Kenobi use?
In the Phantom Menace to A New Hope. So you've got the Phantom Menace one, which has like the black bits on it. Then I think he has the same saber in episode 2 and episode 3. Because it's got like the gold bit. I think. And then in episode 4, it changes. So like is it called the emitter or something? It's got like bubbles. So I'm gonna go with 3.
Well, you're wrong.
I'm wrong. Damn it! No, hang on.
No. It's too late now. Now, I've got to be honest.
I know what you're gonna say
hard.
now.
This is really hard. So, in Phantom Menace, he has his blue one.
Yeah.
And he uses Qui-Gon's because he cuts Maul in half with it. So that's
very
2.
true. Okay.
Attack of the Clones, he has a new blue one because his one went down the shaft with Maul.
Yeah.
It gets taken away from him when he gets captured. So he then gets given a spare one by a Jedi. So that's 4. Yeah. Then then he creates his main one that we see in Revenge of the Sith and New Hope. So that's 5.
Yeah.
Right? He briefly uses one of Asajj Ventress's against Darth Maul when he comes back in the Clone Wars. So that's 6. And then again, when he's confronted by Maul and Savage, he uses, I can't remember her name, but he wields her lightsaber as well. So 7. So he uses 7. I know that is like super, super tough, like.
I would have never got that. I was just thinking movies, and then, but then as soon as you mentioned, like,
it's a tough one though, isn't it? Because, like I said, when you
2.
think about it, he does. He uses Qui-Gon. He uses his first one. And then in the second one, he has he uses 2. And then he creates like his main one that he keeps, and then he has the. So yeah, 7. So if any of you actually know that, then fair play and get in touch because I'll give you a shout out if you could get that one.
Yes. Me, I would have never guessed.
Right. So before we
last
finish,
question.
one more question. I forgot. One more question.
Nah, so yeah. So Boba Fett in the originals is in Empire and Return of the Jedi.
Mhm.
Right. So he has different color gauntlets, so like the arm pieces, in Empire and Return of the Jedi. So what color are they in Empire Strikes Back?
Sorry.
Trying to look at my picture.
I'm thinking of the Boba, but you haven't got it, so I can't see his gauntlet.
This is Return of the Jedi anyway,
Oh,
so
right,
we wouldn't even help you.
I'm gonna go for yellow.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah. I'm gonna say yellow.
No.
Is it red?
No. So in Empire they are green, and then in Return of the Jedi they are red.
Okay. Yeah, because I was picturing the famous red ones that he's still got in Book of Boba Fett and that.
Yeah. I even have a figure machine.
Oh, that's. Why did I say yellow? I know he's got the yellow.
It's that green.
There you are. See,
There you go.
Chloe, as you can tell, is a big Boba fan.
Yes.
Very good question. Very good.
Yes. Good questions from you as well.
maybe. I think the Kenobi one was a little bit over the top.
It's alright. At least we know now.
You know that he used 7. Right. So, Trooper of the Week. I very kindly asked Chloe to find a trooper as well. Did you want to go first?
Yeah, I can do.
All right.
So my trooper of the week is a friend of mine called Josh. He's known as Josh Baldonart on Instagram, and he has an Etsy store as well. So he does like Star Wars pictures, but he'll draw them with pencil. And they're really, really good. Super talented and an inspiration to me. So yeah, he's my trooper of the week. And yeah, you can check out his Etsy if you like prints.
Good. I'll have to have a little look at his artwork then. So well done, Josh. Okay, so mine is a guy called Random Project Time, right?
Mhm.
Now, without going into too much detail, Chloe, I don't know if you've seen, but we had a couple of these things we had them in store. They're called Micro Galaxy Squadron.
Yes.
Yeah. So he basically has a box of all of these ones in their packages. So he opens it up very carefully. And the one that he gets in this video, he gets Cobb Vanth's speeder.
Okay.
So then what he does, he decides to make it look more realistic. So he very, very delicately and very cleverly, using like paint and a pen, details the engine, adds like coloring and markings to it. Very, very detailed little figures. I've checked out some of his other work. He does other ones of these, and I'm very jealous of the talent. Got to be honest. But yeah, this guy is, in terms of his like ability in creating like more realistic looking like figures and ships, so cool. So Random Project Time, you are my trooper of the week. Well done, sir.
Well done.
So yeah, that's it from this episode. I'm very glad that I had Chloe with me because I didn't really want to talk by myself for an hour again. I know you guys don't want to listen to that. So Chloe, thank you for coming on and joining me today.
That's okay. You're very welcome.
Right.
I'll be back in the future.
Yes. So as she said, she will be joining me and Rory in a couple of weeks. I think it's like our first week after celebration. So it will be very much a celebration recap episode. But we're looking forward to having you back on then. And yeah, guys, thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope you enjoyed our breakdown and things that we spotted. Also, don't be afraid to get in touch. Email us if you've got any questions. We'd love to hear them. And yeah, so from me, may the force be with you. And Chloe, you may do the iconic signing off today.
May the force be with you.
For the Republic!
For the Republic.